Hi, I'm Clare Riesman. I'm the assistant manager at the Chadwick Garden, and today I'm going to talk you through repairing hoses. So in your garden, you probably are using a hose as part of your irrigation system or to do any sort of watering. And if you've used that hose over the years, it probably has broken or busted in some way. And rather than going out and buying a new hose, which can run you up to 50 bucks, I'm going to show you how to repair that hose, save some money, and save some materials. So a couple things to think about. One, your hose could have broken somewhere in the middle, maybe a tear, a gash, whatever, a puncture hole, and it's spraying up like this. You're going to need a particular set of repair tools for that. Or your hose could have broken at the end, and you're going to need a separate set of repair tools for that. So other tools you're going to need: screwdriver with a Phillips head, garden clippers, some sturdy ones. You don't want to use just regular kitchen scissors. They won't make it through the hose. We really want to have a nice clean slice. And then what are called hose repairs. And there's a couple different varieties of these depending on your repair, and we'll talk through how to figure out which one you need. You can buy plastic versions of them, and they are much cheaper, but I've found they break way easier, and these metal ones, while they're more expensive, really do last way longer, and so they're a lot less of a pain in the neck and a better value overall. We have our materials, and let's get to repairing. There's 3 different types of hose repair pieces you can use depending on what part of your hose is broken. If it's broken in the middle, you can use a coupler, and then depending on which end of the hose is broken, you can use what's either called a female or a male hose end repair. These are problematic terms to say the least, but they're the ones you're going to see in the store. I prefer using externally threaded or internally threaded instead, but when you look in the store, they're either going to be labeled as female or male. This end of the hose has broken. It is what's called the female end or the internally threaded end. This piece has broken off of here. So what we'll start with is just getting a nice clean cut, and you want a nice straight edge there. So not as clean as I'd like, but you can sort of clean it up. Once we have the nice clean edge, we take our female or internally threaded hose repair end and unscrew it. There should be 2 screws in it that will help clamp it down, but we need to loosen it up in order to get it on the hose in the first place. One tip I'll share is that if you use a hot or a warm hose that's been heated up in the sun, it's a lot easier to work with than a cold hose. I basically don't do any hose repairs in the winter because the rubber is too hard. What I'm doing here is if you are doing a repair on the female or internally threaded hose end, it can be really hard to push on and keep all the pieces in place. So I just get another piece that can screw in, that I can get some leverage that will hold this piece in place. And so I just get a little more power behind it. Now comes the less fun part. It's getting it into the hose, which can just take some wiggling. It's working for me today, but it doesn't always. And don't get down on yourself if it's really hard. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than that. Then we fully open up the clamp, take out the screws, place it around where that insert went in, push it down into place, realign the screws, and screw them back in. And you want to screw them back in sort of back and forth in order to ensure an even tightening. If you screw one in all the way and then the other, it can be an uneven seal and can leak later. All right, that's as tight as I can get it and should be a nice seal for running water through. Now we're going to repair a break or a tear or a gash that's in the middle of the hose, and I've marked where it is so it's easy to find. It's pretty hard to find without any water running. So we've marked where it is and I can see that, and I'm just going to give it a wide berth, cut on either end, nice clean edges, and then use the coupler piece. And it's basically the same process as with an end. I'm going to unscrew the clamps, and then I'm going to take the coupling piece and shove it in. And again, this is not always easy. It's sometimes pretty frustrating. But if you get one side in, even not the whole way, you can start to work on the other side and work on them together. And you want to get as close to the rubber meeting the metal as possible on either side. Same deal as the end fixes. Fully unscrew the clamps, take the screws fully out, seat the hose in the clamp, drop the screws in, and go back and forth tightening on either side. And same on the other side. So now it's time to check out how good of a seal we got and make sure it's all running properly. So I'm turning the hose on, opening this up. This is where the leak was. Looks pretty dry to me. And we can test out, this was the other end that we repaired. No drips. So it looks like we've got 2 successful fixes. So that's what it takes to fix your hose. Like I said, it's going to save you a lot of money from buying new hoses and save a lot of hoses from going into the landfill. Couple quick takeaways. Remember to do this on a warm day so the hose is nice and hot and easier to work with. Use these metal couplers and metal end repairs. They would last a lot longer. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great time fixing your irrigation in your backyard.